What is the secret to a truly happy life? We think we finally found the answer, and it's probably not what you think. It all comes down to one simple rule, and learning it might just change your life.
Life is beautiful.
The Theo Bros Podcast.
Yo, how we doing? I am Mike Theo.
I am Nick Theo.
And you are listening to the Theo Bros Podcast,
where you can count on daily wisdom to get your mind right.
This is going to sound really funny and weird, but I fell in love for the first time in 5th grade.
Aww.
Yes.
Little baby Mikey falling in love.
Yes, it was with one of my classmates. And we fell in love at the end of 5th grade. So literally at the very end of the school year. So I spent the summer
romance.
Yes, I spent the summer off in Italy, and I didn't really get to talk to her the whole summer. So fast forward to the first day of school. I start seeing her in the hallways, and she's like giving me this weird, like ignoring me energy. So now I'm like really confused. I missed her the whole summer. I couldn't wait to see her. So little Mikey is very upset. Finally, school ends. I pin her down in the schoolyard.
Pin her down?
You know what I mean?
Aggressive.
I didn't physically pin her down. I pinned her down. I got her attention.
You got her attention. Got it.
And I went in to give her a little tap on the lips, like a cute little 6th grader. And then she Neos me, like the Matrix, you know, when he's dodging the bullets. So I go in for one kiss, she goes, shoo. I go in for another kiss, shoo. She dodges it. So now, in front of the entire schoolyard, everyone is just basically laughing at me as I'm trying to kiss this girl. It looks like I'm like a loser that's like desperate. And she goes on to tell me after she dodges 100 kisses in a row that she's dumping me and this is the end of our relationship.
Done.
And I was devastated. I know I'm laughing about it now, but in that moment, I fell into a deep, 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 dark depression and actually became suicidal. I remember going to school the few days after and seeing cars pass in the street and thinking to myself, like, honestly, what if I just walked right in front of this car as it's driving at full speed? Like, that was the thought that I was having. And that's how dark it was. And I know it sounds crazy for a 6th grader to be having those thoughts, but looking back, what was really going on was she created a wound in me, or I let her basically create this wound in me where I was questioning whether or not I was a lovable person. And I wanted to know what was wrong with me. Because from my standpoint, I went away and all of a sudden she just didn't want me anymore. So it must have been something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me. And I've spent the rest of my life believing deep, deep down that there's something wrong with me. And this little 6th grade boy who was deeply hurt is still in there at times, and he pops up. And so it's been this battle of self-love, of truly loving myself and convincing that little boy that lives within me that nothing is wrong with me, that this thing that happened many years ago was not personal. And so I've had this battle with loving myself. But it was a long-winded story, and the reason you clicked on this video is because you want to know the secret to happiness. What I've found is the secret to happiness is being able to love yourself fully. And your relationship with life is a direct correlation of your relationship with yourself. And if you truly love yourself fully, you will truly love life around you. And if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, if you don't love yourself, you will not love your life. It's literally that simple.
Wow. That is a crazy story.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you felt that way and it got you to that dark place, but I'm glad that you were able to do this reflection all these years later and really go to the root.
I mean, it wasn't one reflection. I've gone to literally like tons and tons and tons of therapy. I've done all sorts of crazy stuff to try to heal myself. But I think one thing that really helped me the most was reading the book Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It by Kamal Ravikant. And we recently got the opportunity to interview the author on the podcast, which will be coming out in a month or so from the release of today's episode. But the whole book is really about one simple practice that Kamal, who's Naval Ravikant's brother, super savage investor, really successful guy, but similar to me, had this battle with self-love. And he came up with a very simple tool for himself and then shares it in the book. And that tool sounds really dumb, but it's literally to just continuously repeat on a mental loop all day long. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And vowing to yourself to love yourself above all, making that your highest priority. Because like we said at the beginning, if you vow to love yourself, if you truly love yourself, you will love your life. It's really that simple.
Yeah, it's a great book. And it's the best part of that book is the practicality of it, right? Because we often hear that cliche advice like love yourself, but no one really tells us how to do it. And his book is really a blueprint for action for how to actually love yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for people to hear that episode. But before we continue down that path, I want to bring up some science. You're usually the science guy on this podcast, but I found some science, and it's this study that was done that's called a mirror meditation study by Tara Well.
Okay.
So she's a psychology professor at Columbia, and basically she ran this experiment called mirror meditation. So participants sat in front of a mirror, no phone, no music, just eye contact with themselves for 10 minutes a day. The only instruction, to look at themselves the way they would look at someone they loved. No criticism, no judgment, just gentle awareness. What happened completely shocked her. Many participants started crying within the first few sessions, not because of vanity, but because they realized how long it had been since they'd actually seen themselves. They spent years criticizing the reflection instead of connecting with the human behind it. But something started shifting. As the days went by, people began reporting higher self-esteem, more calm, and deeper emotional stability. Why? Because they were literally retraining their brain's emotional circuitry. When you look at yourself with compassion, the same neural pathways that process love, safety, and empathy light up, just as if someone else were offering them to you, except this time it was coming from them. So the moral of the story here was seeing themselves with love literally rewired their brains.
Yeah, I believe it. Actually, Kamal in the book talks about the mirror exercise, where you set a timer for 10 minutes and you just stare at yourself in the mirror like a weirdo, and you just send love to yourself, and you feel that love for yourself, and you really connect with the person that you're staring at.
Yeah.
And it's something that we so rarely
It does really sound weird, but think about it this way. How many times do we actually look in the mirror and we just are looking at it just to judge ourselves and how we look?
Yeah.
Versus actually like look at ourselves and have a conversation with ourselves, like from a outer like viewpoint, to say, hey, you know,
yeah,
look good. I love you.
I've actually been habit hacking this, where after the shower, I'm spending just a minute or so just staring at myself in the mirror and just connecting with myself.
And this always reminds me of our 70-year-old Brazilian barber who was the happiest man ever. And one day, Mike and I, we asked him, like, Leo, how are you so happy, man? And his response will always be stapled in my head. He just looked at us. He said, every morning I wake up, I look in the mirror and I say, I love you. And how powerful was this guy? How much did this dude know?
And he loved life.
And he loved life, and life loved him back. Every customer that came in was just wanted to be around his energy. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up with the call to action.
What do you got for us, Mike?
Call to action is really simple. It's to try the mirror exercise. Set a timer, start with 1 minute if that's what's going to feel most comfortable for you. If you really want to challenge yourself, go to 10 minutes. But start with 1, I would recommend, and just stare at yourself and connect with yourself and try to repeat, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. And if you could say it out loud, bonus points. And see how that feels for you, because the more you build that relationship with yourself over time, the more your relationship with life itself will begin to improve.
And one important thing to remember is, even though it might not feel natural at first, that's okay. Because what we're really trying to do is to rewire our brain and to create a new neural pathway. So at first it might feel a little awkward, but give it some time and you'll start seeing that over time that it actually does become true.
Yeah, and subscribe if you want to catch the actual full interview where there's like a complete breakdown of the practice, which will be coming out, like I said, in about a month or so.
On that note, we love you. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Peace.
Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end.
If you're new here, we share daily mindset motivation in 10 minutes or less.
So if that's your vibe, hit subscribe or check out another episode right here.